Let me get this straight and blunt. There are certain unhealthy stereotypes associated with the places when people say that I come from a specific place. And one such unhealthy stereotype is when if someone says that I'm from Odisha, many of us are quick to form a frame of mind that it's a backward state, it's an underdeveloped one, so on and so forth. If you don't agree to what I just said, I really appreciate your thought process. That's so nice of you. But unfortunately, the stereotype still exists. Hence this video. Odisha is India's best kept secret. And rightfully so. The antiquity of Odisha's culture, civilization, heritage, history, all these aspects is far more wide and deep than what we could possibly imagine. And this short video is just about scratching the surface to get a hang of the ancient and untold history of Odisha. Let's get started. Let me start with a telling example. Puri, one of the 4 most important spiritual abodes of Bharat. Its original name is Purushottama Kshetram. And Puri is the heart and soul of Odisha's history over thousands of years. If we study the history and heritage of Odisha, both from archaeological and scientific standpoint, as well as spiritual and scriptural standpoint, one will certainly understand that Puri is the beating heart of Odisha. And the references of this place in the ancient scriptures is what we're going to see in the next couple of minutes. उवाच स तथा विष्णुं भक्तिश्रद्धा समन्वितः अनुद्गृहणीष्व भगवन् क्षेत्रेऽस्मिन् पुरुषोत्तमे यथास्ति ते मृत्युवशं न व्रजे पुरुषोत्तम. These are the starting slokas of Skanda Puranam Vaishnavakandam Purushottama Kshetra Mahatmyam. Skanda Puranam is the oldest known scripture, or at least one of the oldest known, that documents the detailed history of this place, Purushottama Kshetra, what we call today as Puri. The context and the legend given in Skanda Puranam says that throughout the Mahapralaya, throughout the innumerable Mahapralayas that happened till now, there is one person who is not susceptible to Mahapralayam and is revered as Chiranjeevi, that is Markandeya Maharshi. And this place, Purushottama Kshetram, is a place where even in the Mahapralayam, this place is never destroyed even in the Mahapralayam. And this is the place where Markandeya Maharshi, a young boy, performs a tapasya for Sri Mahavishnu. And the conversation between Sri Mahavishnu and Markandeya Maharshi is where the origins of this place, Purushottama Kshetra or Puri, what we call today, starts. I said this multiple times in my previous documentaries as well. Skanda Puranam is a very important book which played an incredible role in the Ram Janmabhoomi verdict given by the Supreme Court of India. Call it mythology, call it itihasa, whatever you want, but you cannot ignore this ancient scripture, period. In the essence of the conversation between Markandeya Maharshi and Sri Mahavishnu. In Skanda Puranam, it is given that Sri Mahavishnu decided to reveal himself in his most tangible physical form, Sakara Swarupam, in that place called Purushottama Kshetram. Purushottama is the name of Sri Mahavishnu, and hence this place is called as Purushottama Kshetram, and today simply cut short as Puri. Moving on, most of us have this understanding that Puri Jagannath is a manifestation of Bhagavan Sri Krishna, which is correct but not complete. The manifestation of Puri Jagannath existed many yugas even before Bhagavan Sri Krishna's incarnation happened. Now let's jump to another part of Skanda Puranam explaining just that. Jaimini Maharshi is one of the Sishyas of Sri Vedavyasa Maharshi, and this conversation is between Jaimini Maharshi and his Sishyas. And also a quick note on the timing, this happened after the war of Mahabharata, and here is the conversation. Kasmin deshe dvijasrestha tat kshetram purushottamam yatra narayanah Sakshat Darurupi Prakashate. Jaimini Maharshi's Sishyas are asking him, in which land is that Purushottama Kshetram where Narayana reveals himself directly in the form of a wooden idol? 2 very important words, Tat Kshetram Purushottamam. Here is where it is called as Purushottama Kshetram, and many other instances before as well, but it's quite important to note Purushottamam. And second one is Sakshat Darurupi. Daru means wood. Darurupi means an idol made with wood. So in which land is that Purushottama Kshetram where Sri Mahavishnu revealed himself directly in the form of a wooden idol? And here is what Jaimini Maharshi replied. Utkalo nama deshasti khyatah paramapavanah odra desha iti khyato varshe bharata sangyite dakshinasyo dadhestire kshetram Sri Purushottamam. Jaimini Maharshi says that on the shore of the Dakshina Samudram or the southern sea, there is a place called as Odra Desha or Utkala Desha. He's addressed it with two different names, Odra Desham and Utkala Desham. Here is where Purushottama Kshetram is located. And from here on, the complete legend of this place Utkala begins. And that is the reason I said Puri is the beating heart, the central element. It is the linchpin that explains everything about this civilizational marvel called Odra Desha or Utkala Desha. Jaimini Maharshi narrates the legend of Purushottama Kshetram in approximately 25 to 30 chapters, and it is enormous in Skanda Puranam. And for all practical reasons, I'm going to cut it very short, under a minute, to cover the essence of the legend. Many thousands of years ago, back in Kruta Yuga or Satya Yuga, the first one of the 4 Yuga cycle, there was a king called Indradyumna. Indradyumna was the king of much of central India and southern India, with Avanti as his capital. Avanti aka Ujjain. And Indradyumna Maharaja, in the quest of his inner peace, through one of his confidant named Vidyapati, discovers that in the region of Utkala Desha, there is a tribal community who are worshipping a very mysterious Murti of Sri Mahavishnu, revered as Neela Madhava. The statue of Sri Mahavishnu is made with blue sapphire, a very precious gem. That's what this idol is made of. And it is hidden in a very secretive place in a tribal community in the forest regions of Utkala, on a cliff called Neelachala. Achala means mountain. Neelachala. Neelamadhava is on that mountain, hence the name Neelachala. Indradyumna Maharaja wanted to have this Neelamadhava Murti for himself to worship and revere in his own place. So he tries to get the Murti of Neelamadhava. And as I said, it was in a very secretive place, heavily guarded by the tribals of Neelachala. And following this, as certain events unfolded, Sri Mahavishnu decided to disappear from that place, and the idol or the Murti of Neelamadhava is gone forever, leaving Indradyumna Maharaja in dismay and grief. Antardhanam bhagavatah sannidhanam adho bhave tadenam darshayishyami Neelendra Manimachyutam. As I said, the Murti of Sri Mahavishnu made with blue sapphire, Neelendra Manimachyutam. This Murti got disappeared from that mysterious temple in the deep forests of Neelachala. A quick side note, this place called Neelachala, which was the abode of Neelamadhava many thousands of years ago. Even today, this place Neelachala remains a mystery and a legend. It is not known exactly where this Neelachala was actually located. But for sure, this Neelachala mountain once existed in the region of Purushottama Kshetram. And Neelamadhava is the primordial manifestation of Jagannatha, what we know today. And in the same reverence, the train from Puri to Delhi today is named as Neelachal Express. This legend is the basis for naming the train as Neelachala, because Neelamadhava is the first manifestation of Lord Sri Mahavishnu, even before he manifested in the form of Jagannath in the Purushottama Kshetra or Puri. Coming back to the legend of Indradyumna Maharaja, even though he is an ardent devotee of Bhagavan Sri Mahavishnu, he could not get the Neelamadhava Murti for himself. And with a great sorrow, he returns to his kingdom, and that is when Sri Mahavishnu appears in the dream of Indradyumna Maharaja. And there is a lot of events that unfold after that. And Sri Mahavishnu says that, I will get to you in a form of a wooden log and carve an idol out of that wooden log and start worshipping me in that form. So with that said, Indradyumna Maharaja and his wife Gundicha, both of them consecrated the idol of Sri Puri Jagannath carved out of a huge wooden log. And the tradition from Krita Yuga till today continues in Puri Jagannath in the form of Jagannath, what we see today. The legend of Indradyumna Maharaja undisputably establishes that the worship of Jagannatha in Puri existed many thousands of years even before the incarnation of Bhagavan Sri Krishna happened in Dwapar Yuga. The references of Utkala Desham is present in Sri Ramayanam as well. In Kishkinda Kanda, when all the Vanarasena goes in the search of Masita, the group led by Angada, who goes towards the south, that group was told by Sugriva the following: Varadamcha Mahabhagam Mahoraga Nishevitam Mekhalan Utkalam Chaiva Dasharna Nagarani Api. The kingdoms of Mekhala, Utkala, Dasharna, Abravanti, Avanti, Vidarbha, and so on are to be searched thoroughly for Ma Sita. This is what Sugriva said to Angada and his army going down south in the search of Ma Sita. And clearly, Utkalam, the Utkala Desha, is quoted as a place to be searched for Ma Sita in Sri Ramayana. As well in Mahabharatam, when Sanjaya narrates the entire Mahabharata Yuddham or the Kurukshetra Yuddham to Dhritarashtra, he tells about all the kingdoms that took the side of Kauravas and Pandavas. And there comes this slokam in Bhishma Parvam of Mahabharatam. Uttamoja dasharnascha mekhalaschtotkalai saha. Sanjaya says to Dhritarashtra that the kingdoms of Dasharna, Mekhala, Utkala, Panchala, Kausija and so on and so forth fought on the sides of Kauravas. And here we see the reference made to the Utkala Desha as well. And interestingly, Dasharna, Mekhala, these were the surrounding kingdoms of Utkala Desha given in Mahabharatam, exactly matches with the one given in Sri Ramayana as well, what you just saw a couple of minutes ago. And here is one more very interesting aspect about Puri and the history of Odisha. In the Purushottama Kshetram, or the temple of Puri, there is an ancient manuscript that is a living document of all the happenings over a year, documented by the temple authorities even today. And this document called Madala Panji details about various aspects about the history of Puri and by extension to Odisha as well. And even more interesting is, as you're watching this video now, on Vijayadashami is the day when Madala Panji will be written for the entire year that has just passed by. So history is getting documented in Madala Panji as you are watching this video right now. And it has been happening over since many centuries. And this living document elaborates in detail about the history of Utkala Desha, Purushottama Kshetram, and the happenings associated with that over the last 1 year. Every year since many centuries. Well, that is a brief account on the ancient and untold history of Utkala, right from Markandeya Maharshi in Skanda Puranam till today as part of Madala Panji and even Janaganamana, Dravida Utkala Vanga. This place, Utkala, has an incredible amount of civilizational heritage flowing over since thousands of years. And next time, unfortunately, if you are having that stereotype about Odisha, think twice. It is one of the few places in Bharat which has a continuous civilizational memory. And I'm not from Odisha to brag about Odisha. After all, I don't have to be from Odisha to speak truth about Odisha. With that said, I wish you all the success, prosperity and happiness on this Vijayadashami and the year ahead. And as always, thanks for watching.